you know, rotating in there. And then Ramir Johnson ends up finishing the year, right? And then you fast forward to last year, you have a mix between Anthony Grant and then Ramir Johnson gets hurt, and it ends up being who I forget who was the running back last year that finished the
Emmett
year off.
Johnson took
Emmett
a lot of the
Johnson, and then
carries.
Emmett Johnson finished the year off. So now we have a whole new face at running back, Dante Dowdell from Oregon, and I'm sure Oregon's like, man, this. I wish we didn't let this guy go. You know what I'm saying? But um, Rule had some interesting things to say about this. We're about to roll the clip here in a second, but I want you to hear it. When I hear this clip, I see his vision. When I hear this clip, I see his vision for the running back room. And so we got the clip right here. Coach Rule at the press conference talking about the running back carries.
Every game's different. Like last game, I didn't see the need to put a ton of carries on Dante with a short week coming up. I think that's, and I shouldn't say me, our staff didn't. I think that's pretty high level thinking by those guys. This game's different. As I've said, I'd like to have one guy like in the low 20s, one guy around 15. We're not running the quarterback, so you're running some other guys, and then obviously we try to incorporate the receivers a little bit into the run game. But I think having one guy at that number, but as the game plays, we're facing a team that's an elite run defense. They're also an elite pass defense. They're just an elite defense. So each game's a little different. We'll see what we need to do in each game to win.
Yeah. So this is a night and day difference from what we've been seeing. We've seen Dante last week had 6 carries. Colorado week, I believe, I'm pulling it up right now, Dante had 17 carries, okay? And then the week before that, I believe he had I think Ramir Johnson was the leader, or Emmett Johnson was the leader at 11 carries. So what I'm trying to say is that Dante, the identity that Rule is trying to build, I mean, that's 35 carries within 2 guys right there. Like he mentioned last year, I just said Nick Heinrich Harburg, he was half the run game. He was half the run game. So you eliminate all of his carries. You give them over to the running backs, Dante, Emmett, Gabe, and Ramir. Moving forward, I see a well-balanced offense. Why? Because now the quarterback is just in there to throw the ball. You don't got to run the ball. I mean, it opens up so many things. There's a bunch I want to talk about going into this Illinois game, and there's a question I have for those listening, and maybe it's rhetorical, but if Nebraska has a dominant performance against Illinois on Friday, tomorrow night, are we potentially dealing with a playoff team? We'll be 4-0. I mean, I'm not going to say, Purdue's just, we can just cruise by Purdue. But I wouldn't say I've seen anything in Purdue where I'm like, dang. So and then I would assume that we're going to start off 5-0. I think that going into a bye week, I believe after that. And then you kind of get into some tougher opponents. Yes. We obviously got SC and Ohio State coming up. But even if you fall to those 2 games, you're possibly still a playoff team. And you never know where USC is going to be, and you never know where Ohio State's going to be. I believe it's like week 8 and week 10. So you just don't know. And I mean, me personally, I was watching The Captain this morning, and they were talking about. I clicked on it for a quick second, and they was talking about. T. Farley was talking about he don't think Nebraska gonna go undefeated, and I can't even say yes or no. I really can't, because if Nebraska goes undefeated, they go undefeated. If they don't, they don't. And I'm not going to be the one to say no, they're not going to, because I want them to at the end of the day. The realistic side of me, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand. Like, Ohio State got a team, SC got a team. We still dealing with a freshman quarterback, but I still not seeing any freshman characteristics out of him. There was, I forget what there's so much Nebraska content that be thrown at me, but somebody was saying, I hope it wasn't on this station, but somebody was saying, we've seen some freshman moments by Dylan Raiola, and I'm questioning when did we see him? When did we see him? I haven't saw him. Like, I mean, if you're talking about the pick to when he's trying to throw the deep ball to Jalen Lloyd, that's a beautiful ball. I mean, maybe an inch higher. I mean, that's ticky-tacky. If Jalen Lloyd extends his hands through that play, he either drops it or the DB doesn't get a hand on it. So that's neither here nor there. But after this win, let's say let's get creative. Let's get creative and let's get creative but realistic at the same time. Let's say Nebraska goes and beats Illinois. My prediction, which I and Mikey's right around here. Mikey's is 28-14. Mine is 31 to 13. If Nebraska goes and beats Illinois 31 to 13, are they the new team to beat in the Big Ten? Of course, you got Ohio State. Of course, you got SC. Of course, you got Penn State. But you're slowly seeing an emergence of a quote unquote powerhouse or the new Nebraska. And Nebraska last year and the year before that, and while I played that, has went through this quote unquote process. I believe it's a process. They went through a period of time or a period of a process that has gotten them to this point. And there's a lot of, and we talked about there's a lot of overflow from, even the 2021 team. There's still overflow from that. There's still Nash. There's still Ty. There's still Gift. There's still Jamar. There's still Ramir Johnson. There's still half of the old line, Bryce Benhart, Turner Corcoran, all these guys, right? You got all this overflow from last year, even Emmett Johnson from 2022. You got all this overflow from, this Frost era and all these different things. These boys went through a process. They've seen things done, quote unquote, the wrong way or quote unquote a different way to the way they're doing things, which is obviously elevating this culture and this program and really this bringing this city back to life. And it's pushing not only Nebraska football, but it's pushing other sports too. Because as Nebraska football rises to the place it's going to be, other sports are going to continue to rise with it. Obviously, volleyball has been the standard at this school for a while, since Nebraska has kind of been this lull of football. But now that Nebraska is, I believe, I know maybe it's early. We're only 3-0, of course, but I'm an optimistic guy. That's one of my superpowers. I'm optimistic about everything. So when I look at this, I'm like, okay, if we continue to win, continue to do right, I mean, Troy Dennett has walked into a gold mine. He has walked into a gold mine. I mean, Nebraska goes and sweeps Stanford last night. Shout out to them. We were talking about me and Mike were talking about the Nebraska volleyball, and we're saying, if they get this win in a dominant fashion, I mean, this just goes to show that like Nebraska athletics is just a top tier institution, and I mean, who wouldn't want to come here and then, staying on the topic of the fans and the support, sell out number 400. There's significance in that number 400. If you know, you know, but there's so many reasons why Nebraska needs why it's good for Nebraska to be on top. I think it helps out college football. I think it helps out the Big Ten. I think the powers that be, I think it helps them out too. Because if this place is rocking like the 90s, or not even the 90s, like the early 2000s, if this place is a 9-win, 10-win team expected every year, oh my gosh, this place is on fire. The boosters, who wouldn't want to throw money at this team? Who wouldn't want to go get the best players? Now that Dylan Riley has shown that, first of all, he's mature enough to handle the hype and all this stuff. It's not a thing where, and this is the beautiful part that people don't talk about, is you don't have with Raul, from what I've seen, you don't really have to deal with the are we hyping it up too much? Is it going to get to his head? He's a sound individual. He's a sound individual who has home training, who has good character, so he can handle these things. So that's not a concern. I'm talking. This is like off the field things. Real life things. Like, is he getting added about Patrick Mahomes going to get to his head, and now he going to not approach the game the same way, and he going to be, the whole Johnny Manziel. You know what I'm talking about? The whole Johnny Manziel. We don't got to deal about that. Okay, we don't got to deal with that. Next, okay, is his IQ there? Is he not only a talented guy, but does he have an IQ for the game? Does he have a hunger for knowledge? Does he take pride in his study of film? Does he take pride in his study of the playbook, his knowledge of the playbook? Check mark there. Okay, does he have talent? Check mark. I mean, we've seen that since he was a youngin', right? The next, can he lead? Can he lead a program? Can he lead an institution? He's leading an institution right now. This is much more than just Nebraska football he's leading. Um, the city of Nebraska sees that this is the kid that can bring us to the higher level. Obviously, the culture and the team, and you need 11 guys. But if we don't have this piece, this team is not where they are, right? So I would say check mark there. So now it's time after this year, it's time to surround him with the guys. It's time to surround him with the best receivers. It's time to surround him with the best running backs, the best O line, the best D line, the best everything, because he's shown, okay, I can be trusted with this as a true freshman. I can be trusted with the playbook. I have the talent. I have the leadership. I have the capacity for greatness. We've seen it. We've seen it. And so that's where my process is after this year, I believe, and we've seen it in years past. We've seen it in years past where, guys are, I remember playing like, Wisconsin and all these different teams, and the coaches report, the coaches would be talking, right? And they would say like, man, like, our guys are struggling after playing y'all. Like it was the most physical game, right? Like we would go play a team and they would lose, the next week. Why? Because it was a physical game. Like that was just the identity of Nebraska, and it's always has been, always will be. Like punch you in the mouth, step on your throat. Sorry for the morbid examples, but like that's kind of the identity. You heard, all you hear black shirts talk, they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? You heard, they're crazy. You hear T. Farley talking about what he used to do under Piles. Yeah. Anyways, but the question, I guess, now, and I have a bunch of questions for today's show. The question is, how will Dylan Raiola react to more complex defensive coverages? A lot of coverages will be identified post snap, and I'll explain what this means. And how can Nebraska use that to their advantage? So just break that down for you. I said a lot of coverages will be identified post snap. So let's just use the words for what it is. Post means after, right? So after the ball is snapped to the quarterback, Dylan will be able to see the coverages. Why? Illinois plays a lot of rolled cover, not even rolled coverages. They disguise things. They disguise their zone as man and disguise their man as zone. Okay, not so much the other one, but their zone as man, right? Or their man as zone. So what I mean by that is they'll start off, it looks like man to man, all of a sudden they'll roll to cover two. And you're like, what the heck, right? So as a young quarterback, he has to identify those things after the ball is snapped, because that's when the coverages will be rotated. Looking at the film, I mean, this defense has holes. I mean, they got plenty of holes. It's not the Illinois defense of old of 2022 when you got all these draft picks. It's not really that defense. They let up a lot in the run. And my theory is, they usually run guy like a 5 down lineman look. And I'll be curious to see if they do this against Nebraska. They might go to a 4 down front, which might cause a little bit of problems. I believe that they're probably going to come out something a lot different. But if they have five down linemen, right, for D line, and we have 5 O linemen, right? If we can get up to the next level, get the running back to the next level, it's just going to be him one on one with a linebacker a lot of times, right? Or a safety flowing over, or a safety, running the alley or something like that. So I see explosive run day for Nebraska tomorrow. I see a very explosive run day. I see, I see Dante getting to like 120 yards, 130 yards, and I see like Emmett or Ramir get into like 70 or 80, maybe even cracking 100. I don't even think that's a bold take. If Rule is adamant on, I believe, I don't think, we're gonna have the twos in on Saturday. I believe Dylan's gonna finish the game from here on out. I don't think it's gonna be a whole thing where, we're gonna be seeing a bunch of twos on the field, right? So if Dylan's finished this game, meaning the ones are going to finish this game as well, I think Dante going to get at least 20 carries. Seriously, maybe even more. Maybe he just has the hot hand and they just want to keep feeding him, and put Gabe in on some short yardage touch. I expect Gabe to actually get some touches, probably about 6 or 7 carries, probably some 3rd and 1 situations. I would like to see Gabe in early though, because you don't like me and Mikey were talking about this. Rhythm as a running back, rhythm as a football player in general, but specifically as a running back, because usually the ball is always in your hands when it's a specific play. Of course, when it's a run play, if the ball is always in your hand, you want to you don't want the pressure of a 3rd and 1 to come and you haven't carried the ball in 7 minutes, right? You just don't want that. Of course, if the defense has a long drive, that's a whole different equation. Um, but before we wrap up this segment, I just want to talk about the 400 sellout. I can't wait to see what is going to happen there's going to be some type. I don't know if the light show is going to be different. There's got to be something. I don't know if they're going to do the drones with the 400 or something. I'm sure there'll be probably a pretty impactful video celebrating all the things. And I know they closed down school tomorrow. They closed down school tomorrow, so that can tell you that the university is bought into this. They're bought into what Nebraska is doing. They're excited. The people are excited. Yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait, Bach. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I just love it. I know some people aren't too excited about the game days on Fridays or whatnot, but for a one-off here, it's really exciting just to be able to not have to wait and get ready for Nebraska and Illinois top 25 showdown. Something Nebraska fans have been waiting quite a bit of time for. But let's take a quick break here inside the locker room here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back with more breakdown for Chancellor Brewington coming up next.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
You've seen them come and go. Franchise testosterone clinics that pop up and then whoosh, they're gone. These franchise clinics quickly find out it's not easy to compete with Limitless Male. Limitless is locally owned and operated with a flawless protocol that has elevated them to be the best in men's testosterone replacement and sexual performance. By adding GLP-1s, our patients are losing weight in a healthy way. To feel your optimal best, schedule a free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road. Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best boxing on Saturday, October 5th with Roughnecks at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 8 bouts are scheduled for the night, including the main event of Dwayne Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks in the Professional Middleweight Championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A fall aeration by Judson Irrigation will help maintain your lawn by maximizing the effectiveness of your watering and fertilization. Judson will flag the locations of your sprinkler heads, followed by a deep core aeration to give your lawn the breath of fresh air it needs. Schedule your aeration today. Your lawn will love you for it.
Let us aerate today to ensure a healthy head start for your lawn next spring. Go to judsonirrigation.com or call Judson Bylene 402-420-6277.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, We would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Old School with DP and J.
On your scale of 1 to 7, because the Husker in you, the player in you, and then the football analyst, where were you?
That's a good question. I probably was 7 would be, we're back. I'd probably say I look at all of it, probably 4.5, 5. I have a lot of good teach tape, and I can keep the pedal to the metal.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back for the second segment of The Locker Room. I like to say inside the locker room or a peek in the locker room, but it actually is called The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Mikey out today, but Chancellor, we'll throw it to you.
Yes, sir. So we're just talking about, is Nebraska the team to beat? And, it might be a little early for that. It might be a little early. But I'm optimistic. I think moving forward, when we get to like week 6, about week 6, I believe we're still going to be 6-0, undefeated. And we're going to be the team to beat, the team to take down. Why? Because the nation is going to see on Friday night what Nebraska is made of. We're going to see a standard. We're going to see a dominant football. I think they're going to see 2 top 25 teams, but one's going to emerge as the dominant powerhouse. And I think it's going to start with running the football. It's going to start with being physical up front. But something in my soul, Bach, something in my soul makes me feel as if this game isn't going to be as close as people think.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. You just kind of run through it. Like you said earlier, Illinois hasn't been great at stopping the run. Not that Nebraska's been fantastic at running the ball either. Right. But that seems to kind of fit right up Nebraska's alley as far as their game plan to get that going, can kind of open up the pass. And it's just hard for me as I was kind of even predicting my score. I threw out 31-17, which is close to yours. So great minds think alike. And then I even felt a little bit bad because I like your score better, 31-13. I was trying to think, how's Illinois going to get 17 against Nebraska's defense? Because it's hard to imagine. Last year, their running back, Hayden Fagan, had like 6 carries and just wasn't getting anything going. They had 21 total yards rushing last year against Nebraska. So it's just hard to imagine that getting going. And if Nebraska's going to win that part of the game, they could win by a few scores.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you look at the specific, and I think the Kansas game was interesting because I don't think the Kansas of this year is the Kansas of last year. It's kind of like on a smaller scale, the TCU situation from 2 years ago. You go to the Final Four in football, and then you go lose everyone. You lose about 20 guys to NFL, 20 guys, seniors and all that stuff, and then the next year you're still ranked because it's the overflow from last year, and you're just not the same team. You lose a bunch of pieces. So I think Kansas is kind of dealing with that. They lost a lot of pieces on defense, some key positions on offense as well. So when you look at the Kansas-Illinois game, you're like, man, where's kind of like the star power, firepower that we saw in Kansas on offense and defense? Well, the year before they kind of lost some pieces. Then you turn on the Central Michigan game from last week, and I mean, if you really look at the film, Central Michigan had two opportunities in the first half to. I mean, they got down to like the 8-yard line. Offense coordinator at Central Michigan. I hope I don't know you, but it was bad, Bach. It was bad. It was really bad. It was really bad. He was doing this. Yeah. It was really bad. It was really bad. But they had opportunities, and I believe the score should have been 14-10, Central Michigan at halftime. And then you look at the third quarter; they were still battling third quarter. It's just every time Central Michigan got in the red zone, it wasn't necessarily a thing, and they scored. They got called back, but it wasn't necessarily a thing where Illinois was stopping Central Michigan. I never really saw that on the film, on the tape. It was more so Central Michigan just couldn't finish the drives, and they were driving. I mean, they could run. They ran the ball on them. They threw the ball on them. Mainly ran the ball. A lot of runs. A lot of just zone, simple stuff. I mean, stationary things that people run in high school. And what I'm talking about with that 5 down front that Illinois runs, it causes some problems for Illinois. Because once you get into second level, if you block up the first level, there's really only one guy to beat or two guys to beat. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. I want to go through some of these Big Ten games this week, since we will not have a show tomorrow. I want to go through some of these Big Ten games, starting with Illinois, Nebraska. I'll give our predictions again, and I'll throw these to you, Bach. I want to hear these from you too. So we got Illinois, Nebraska. I got 31-13. And you have
31-17.
31-17. We got Marshall, Ohio State. They're a 39-point favorite, 40-point favorite. Ohio State is. I don't believe Marshall's going to even get close. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The only entertaining part about that is Marshall's head coach has offered, if you're any Ohio State coach that wants to, or player that wants to transfer over, he said this at the in game week. That they have an unlimited NIL deal for these certain biscuits or whatever that are there. So he's saying if anybody wants unlimited biscuits, go ahead and transfer over to Marshall.
There's no way he said this.
He said this. So doesn't inspire me to believe they've got a whole lot of belief that they're going to get the job done.
They got biscuits, no water. Okay, we got Charlotte, Indiana. Indiana looks good. Their running back Ellison. I mean, their quarterback's thrown for almost 800 yards. Up to this point. Indiana is a 28.5 favorite. I got Indiana probably covering the spread. I mean, yeah.
That's a game that's going to be interesting here. More interesting than we thought preseason is Indiana's got things going. Kurt Cignetti, he came in talking a lot of stuff, and so far they've been able to back it up. So that is going to be exciting here in a little bit. But yeah, Charlotte's no match for Indiana, by the way, knocking on the door of the top 25. So pay attention.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, I like it. I could see them possibly sneaking in because there's a lot of top 25 teams playing each other this week, and we'll talk about it in a second. We got Villanova and Maryland. Villanova is 3-0. I'm sure they haven't played anyone too crazy. They do have a running back that has about 300 yards rushing already, but Maryland had a tight game with Michigan State last week. I thought Maryland was the superior team. I would say a little bit with quarterback play. Defense just let up some things with Michigan State. It was really just a super weird game. Like it was a super weird game if you go back and watch Maryland, Michigan State. The spread on that is 17.5. I got Maryland. I think they're gonna dominate. I think it's going to be a statement game, bounce back from last year, because I think what they put on film last week, I don't think they showed the full extent of who they were. I think they're a better team than what they showed. So what you got? You got Villanova or Maryland?
Yeah, I'd like it better on the basketball court, but I'd watch it playing football as well. I've got Maryland in a big one here too. A surprise to see them drop that one to Michigan State. I thought, this is a program that's basically going after their post Tagovailoa tenure here and see if Mike Locksley can get it done without Baby Tua, as we used to call him around here.
Baby Tua.
But Billy and I was surprised to see Billy Edwards Jr. get the start there. But so far so good. Like I said, did come up short against Michigan State, but Maryland they weren't necessarily expecting to go undefeated this year.
Right. So you got Penn State, Kent State. I mean, the Penn State spread is kind of crazy. It's a 49-point spread. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to cover that. Maybe. They definitely They definitely are the superior team, so we'll see. I think we're both in agreement. Penn State. And then we got USC, Michigan. This is top 3, top 4 game of the week. Is that man carrying a snake? Is that a snake right there? Is that a snake?
I think he does have a snake.
Oh my gosh. That's a snake. Oh my gosh. There's a man walking around the street with a snake on O Street. Stay inside your cars. USC versus Michigan. You got USC as a 5.5 favorite. It was a little higher earlier this week. I believe it was like close to like 7 or 9 points. This is tough. Is Michigan going to bounce back? Miller Moss looks legit in this USC offense. Looks really legit. Michigan ran the ball good last week. Doesn't really say much based on who they played. But yeah, I mean, you go and look at the Texas game, wasn't close. So I got SC. I got SC by at least 13 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking a similar thing. This is, on paper looks like a really good matchup, but Michigan's just they've got quarterback problems, and USC doesn't. So that makes you feel pretty good about the Trojans going in there. And obviously, they already beat LSU. That's a quality victory. Michigan didn't do well against Texas. A lot of people say, well, that's more Texas than it is Michigan. Until I see Michigan with an answer at quarterback, then I'll think that part of that's on the Wolverines as well.
Yeah, so we got Rutgers, Virginia Tech. This will be interesting. This is gonna be a close game. I think so. Rutgers running back. I mean, he's killing it so far. In just 2 games, he's already got 46 carries. Talk about a run game. He already got 46 carries, 373 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. They already got VTech as a favorite. I think Rutgers gets it done. I think Rutgers pulls away and gets it done. It's gonna be on ACC Network. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, that's a good one. And Virginia Tech came in expecting to have kind of like a breakout year as well. They lost to Vanderbilt. That's opening weekend, so maybe there's something there they can kind of figure that out. But Rutgers is kind of same situation as Indiana. They're knocking on the door of the top 25 as well. Kind of working out in Nebraska's favor. If they can win these games, this stretch of games, you can get credit for top 25 victories, possibly here with Illinois, Indiana, and Rutgers.
Yeah. So and yeah, I agree. I think this Rutgers team is good. I really think this Rutgers team is good. I think out of Purdue, Northwestern, Washington, Indiana, although Indiana I think is good, I just am high on this Rutgers team. I think they had a lot of young pieces that have evolved and taken some leadership roles, starting with linebacker Powell, and obviously their running back. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it, but speed round with these last 4. Northwestern, Washington. I got Washington.
Yeah, I'll go with Washington too. They don't look as good as what they were last year, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same situation with the TCU. Like they just lost a bulk of their offense. I mean, I believe they had like 46 guys transfer out, if not more. Then we got Iowa, Minnesota. I would never say I was going to win a game.
Floyd or Rosedale trophy on the line. My favorite trophy, if you were a big bronze pig. Close one. This one's going to be tough either way. This is Big Ten West football.
Yeah, for sure. Michigan State, Boston College. I got Boston College this week.
Yeah, definitely can see it with Bill O'Brien. Michigan State, though, can they carry that momentum from getting that big victory?
Mm-hmm. And then we got Purdue, Oregon State. This will be interesting. I mean, I think Oregon State probably gets it done. Purdue had I could use some choice words for the showing they put against Notre Dame. But yeah, I got Oregon State.
Yeah, you hope they have some bounce back ability there in West Lafayette, but that's a hard one to get off the floor from.
Yeah. So I mean, when we look at all those, you got a bunch of top 25 teams facing off. And I think, depending on, Tennessee, Oklahoma, depending on even Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Utah, Oklahoma State, a lot of things will be shifting this top 25. And I think there's going to be a sliver for Nebraska to get in the teens.
There we go.
I love it.
Love to see it. Nebraska moving up the rankings. According to our predictions, will it happen? You'll have to check out Friday and then check out the rankings on Monday. But we got one more segment of The Locker Room coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and we are out of the gate for September with a very special GMC sales offer. We must move out all new GMC truck inventory fast. So right now at Coppell, we are offering true GM supplier pricing for everyone. Yes, you heard right. True GM supplier pricing on all GMC Sierras. That's over $12,000 off on select models. That's GM supplier pricing, $12,000 off on Sierras. Do not wait. Stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith. Innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The Electrical Workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. An afternoon high around 92. Tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low around 59. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies will return. An afternoon high again around 92. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School with DP and J.
On your scale of 1 to 7, because the Husker in you, the player in you, and then the football analyst, where were you?
That's a good question. I probably was 7 would be, we're back. I'd probably say, I look at all of it, probably 4.5, 5. I have a lot of good teach tape and I can keep the pedal to the metal.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Powersports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop. Woohoo!
Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the locker room here at 93.7 The Ticket. Final segment of the week, so final time to get some thoughts out. Chancellor, we'll send it to you.
Yes, sir. To start this segment off, of course, shout out F Foundation Repair. That's where Mikey Daniels is right now, man. So shout out to everyone there. And Mikey usually speaks on it, but I appreciate them doing what they do for the community and for our show. Illinois, Nebraska. Nebraska is a 7.5 favorite. I don't know. I feel it in my bones. That's what they say. I feel it in my bones. That Nebraska could run away with this one. And I said it Colorado week, and people thought I was crazy, Bach. They came on this show. They commented on this show. I can pull up the comment right now, and they said, these guys don't know what they're talking about. First of all, they said, I don't know ball, and I take offense to that. They said, you don't know ball. You don't know what you're talking about. But now, looking forward, I was right. I said, it's not going to be close. And even Mikey was kind of like, hey, you really, you need to calm down a little bit. And I said, no, it's not going to be close. And now I'm looking at the film. I'm looking at Illinois, what they do good, what they do bad, and it perfectly aligns with what Nebraska does good. This is a great matchup for Nebraska. It's not one where I'm like, oh, my goodness, how are we going to do this? They can't run the football. If we stop them from running the football, we can send pressure. We've been great at our D-line and our front seven at getting pressure on the quarterback. Tony White is probably, top 5 defensive coordinator in the nation. He's schemed up schematically for passing teams like Illinois likes to do. They like to put teams in, run pass options with this RPO stuff. Well, when we have a 3-3-5, we could put 5 guys in the box and play coverage and still stop the run, right? There's going to be so many things that this defense does to solve problems for this Illinois. And that's why I'm so hyped up. You look at Illinois' defense, they couldn't stop the run. What is Nebraska? One thing that they're getting really good at and probably going to evolve and take a next level and next step in is running the football and throwing the football. I mean, Central Michigan could do what they on offense. They did what they wanted to do. It wasn't a thing where Illinois just shut everything down. And Central Michigan, I would say, isn't a very good football team. Central Michigan's defense was not very disciplined, was not very good. You look at specifically Illinois' run game. I mean, what's his name? Number 3?
Caden Fagan is their big back.
Big back. I mean, big back. He slow as molasses. I mean, it takes him, 2 years to get going. So, I mean, we set edges, make him cut things upfield, make him put a foot in the ground. It takes a while for the big fella to get going. That's what I'm trying to say. My players of the game. We talked about this. I think I need a revised list. I think we got Isaac Gifford. I think I got Isaac Gifford as 1A, 1B. I don't know. I feel like Malcolm's going to get another one. I have a feeling. This quarterback does a really good job. I think Prince will. Do you know how I say his last name?
Umin Mielen is my best guess.
There we go. I call him P. Will. So P. Will, Prince Will, we'll call him P. Will on this show. I think P. Will is going to have a great game. Why? Because this offensive system is run through the quarterback. Altmaier has gotten faster. I think he looks like he looks fast. He looks fast. So the jack position, I'm assuming, or linebacker, could be John Blook, could be Makai Gaber. I would like it to be, Prince Will, because he's so dynamic. Somebody's going to need to put in a spy, making sure, we're accounting for the quarterback when we play man. Even in some zone coverage, if we have a light rush, having a guy drop out in man, in a spy, that would be key. Yeah, Altmaier's playing good football. It'll be a good matchup, Altmaier versus the defense, Dylan Raiola versus Illinois' defense. I mentioned previous that last show, I believe I said Banks is to have a big game. I think I'm gonna revise that. I think I'm gonna go with Jacory. I think Jacory's gonna continue to have a big game. And I think the big fella, Fedoni gets open a little bit. They're running this cover 2. Obviously, there's 3 holes to cover 2. You got the 2 outside windows on hole shots. Dylan can make those throws, but I don't think in this offense, it's going to be, very, very, many opportunities to do that. I think up the middle, I know it's very generic and very common, cover 2 up the middle, but seriously, legit. Like, I think Fedoni's going to have some matchups, where a backer, is running with him in versus cover 2. I think Fedoni's going to have a big game. So I got Jacory, Fedoni, and I think Raiola throws for almost 300. Is that crazy, Bach?
No, I like it. I'd love to see, that and how they step up. It's going to be interesting. And I just wanted to ask you if you think Nebraska's going to win by a significant margin, a significant enough margin, let's flip it. How does Illinois keep the game close? How does Illinois win the game?
Yeah, for Illinois to win this game, they need to take away something on Nebraska's offense. They need to be really good on special teams, whether as a punt block. I mean, when you block a punt, you have the statistics say you have a 90%, or I believe it's 92% chance to win a football game.
Wow.
So that's just specifically with the punt block. It shifts momentum. It flips the field fast, puts the defense in a crappy situation, of course. So if I'm Illinois, play really good on special teams. You can't have any errors. You can't, you can't allow Bushini to pin you down there. You can't allow a muff kick, a muff punt. You can't allow any missed kicks, missed field goals. Just little things like that. Play really good on special teams, and I think going against you have more chances to win or shift the momentum or shift the I'm trying to think. What's the thing that like weighs things? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, scale.
So shift the scale, right? You shift the scale by what you do on defense against Nebraska. I think the number one thing is taking away runner pass, right? I think it'll be harder for Illinois that from their identity to take away the run. So I think when Dylan Raiola drops back, number 17, I forget his name, great D lineman for Illinois. I think those guys are just going to have to see red and hunt, right? So when Dylan Raiola drops back, they need to get home. They need to get pressures, get hurries, get sacks. I would say that's their best bet because I really don't think they're a run stopping defense. I think they're geared, and the way their defense is set up, they got this safety sitting, 22, 25 yards back deep in the secondary. They do a lot of things, but I think the one area they let up, and I think they're not okay with it, but I think because of, the dominant play with their D line, I think, it's a kind of a 50-50 chance if they get penetration back there, because they're 5 down front. So I would say stopping the run and, stopping the pass and, containing the run. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just one thing too is that, last year I know it was a 20-7 ball game. Nebraska should have some things that they can look back at there as successful. But remember, it was a lot closer than that. Speaking of momentum, to start that game, Illinois drove down to the 1, and Nebraska stopped them on 3rd and 4th down. It was an incredible goal line stop that kind of set the tone for the game. So, we always say these games, Obviously, it could be a 60-minute ball game, but that was one of those plays that in drives that significantly stood out to me is like early in the ball game. This kind of set the tone.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that this Illinois team has improved. I believe they've improved. What I mean by that is guys obviously got older, guys obviously got more experience, more polished. But in key areas, key places, I would have loved for them to up their running game, Illinois specifically, but they didn't do that, right? And so I think that's the hole. And I think moving forward for Illinois, if they can patch that, and fix that, because I think honestly, I think number 5, their backup is probably a little bit more dynamic. If we see a little bit more of him, then I believe it slightly raises the chances of Illinois. But yeah, so I appreciate y'all watching the locker room, man. It's been a good show, Bach.
Yeah, absolutely. Locker Room will be back next week on the block, coming up next on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies, an afternoon high around 92. Tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low around 59. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies will return, an afternoon high again around 92. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. Ep Foundation Repair. We Fix Basements.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business,